In this clip, the following strands are the focus: standards-based teaching with culturally responsive literature, and systematic teaching of situational appropriateness with language and behavior.
Okay, good morning, scribes.
Good morning, Ms. Robin.
Okay, good morning. This morning we talked about our calendar. We did our student count. We know who's here, who's present. Somebody raise a righteous hand and tell me, how many boys do we have in our class? This lesson, like most lessons, I want to connect it to something that they already know, provide a hook that is interesting for them. And so for this lesson, I tied it into our morning routine where we count the boys and girls. 18 boys are here today, plus 1 boy absent. So altogether we have how many students? Shout out.
19.
Great. Okay, 19 boys. And how many girls do we have in there, Rose? Just want you to imagine for a moment, what would it be like if we didn't have, ladies, if we didn't have any boys in our class? If it was all girls?
No.
Would that be a good thing?
No.
Boys? They're at the stage now where, the boys are and the girls are and so, to tie that in with how many boys, how would you feel if it was all girls or if it was all boys, and try to bring out some of those things. So we started with that and then moved into the partner pair share where they get a chance to stop and think and discuss with their neighbor. Remember, when you're sharing out, you're going to tell us what your partner told you, okay? All right, let's see. Isaiah's salary, how about you?
She said if it was a whole lot of girls, it won't be okay.
It won't be okay? No? Did she say she would miss the boys? No? Well, how do you feel about it? How would you feel if there were no girls? Would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing.
It would be a bad thing? Why? Would you miss something?
I will miss them.
Oh, you are so sweet. We'd miss the girls, wouldn't we? Malik Bell, how would you feel?
He told me that girls read a book. All the girls read the books, and most of them do, and most of them play their iPod.
Essence Leslie, what did your partner tell you?
If it was all girls, she would be happy. If there weren't all boys, she would be sad that she will miss all other boys.
I hear some of you saying yes, you would miss the boys. Raise a righteous hand if you can tell me just one reason why you would miss the boys if they weren't here.
Well, if the boys wasn't here, they pick out fun games that I love, and well, if they wasn't here, I couldn't do anything without them because they're my friend.
And then from there, just a quick discussion of home language versus school language, just to tie it in, kind of a preview to the book, to the story that was coming up in the language that's going to be used in the story. Okay, today we're going to read a story about a young man who really enjoys being a boy. And he tells us about it using his home language. Before we start, can you raise a righteous hand and tell me, where do we get our home language from?
Our home language comes from Africa.
Excellent, excellent. Ethan Anderson, who does our home language come from?
Our ancestors.
Our ancestors. We reach back to our ancestors and we use some of that language that they used, and then we switch it sometimes when we're at school, don't we?
Some people might not know our home language.
Very good. If they don't know our home language, class, can they understand us?
No!
Okay, so we have to make sure we're switching to a language that everyone that's listening to us can understand, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hold up a couple pictures, and I just want you to tell me, is this a home language situation or is this a school language situation, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Let me try to find one that you guys want. How about this one? This man is sitting in his office. He's working. He's writing a paper, probably to share with some of his co-workers. And you can give a shout out. Is this home language or school language?
School language!
Very good. This one, it's a grandfather sitting with his grandchildren, telling a story and chit-chatting and having fun. Home language or school language? Home language. As we read through this story, I want you to listen for instances of home language and listen and see what are some of the things that this young man enjoys doing. Okay? All right. The author of this story is Bell Hooks. You guys can shout out. What does the author do? Write the words to the story. Okay. And the illustrator is Chris Rochka. What does the illustrator do? The illustrator draws the pictures. The title of our story is Bee Boy Buzz. And when bees buzz, do they stay in one place? No, bees are moving around all the time, aren't they? They're moving through the trees. They're moving. Great. They're moving to the smell that they like, probably on a flower, buzzing from flower to flower. Very good. They do what? They do what? They move from place to place. Okay. Great. So we know that bees buzz and they move from place to place, flower to flower. Is that kind of like our boys might do on a fun Friday? Move from place to place? From the listening center to the library to the math center? Are they buzzing from place to place? I think that's what the author wants us to keep in mind as we listen to this story. Here we go. Bee Boy Buzz. What is this page that tells us the title again? What did we call this page that has the title, the author, the illustrator? The title page. Excellent. Here we go. I be boy. I be boy. All bliss boy. All fine beat. All bow boy. Beautiful. All bad boy beast. All boy. I be boy running. I be boy jumping. I be boy laughing, crying, telling my story, talking way too loud. We did some code switching at the end. And at the kindergarten level, it doesn't necessarily have to be that formal, just enough to get them thinking about it.
I be boy jumping.
Excellent. To validate the home language and then make sure that they understand when they're going to code switch, what that means to code switch, and what might be an appropriate switch. Let's talk about this I be boy. I be running, I be jumping. That's called the habitual be, and we use that in our home language sometimes when we're talking about things that we do all the time, things that we make a habit of doing. So, for example, maybe you guys can think of some other I be phrases or we be. How about when Miss Nicole turns on the music and you all jump up and start dancing and you're having a good time? What could you say about that? We. Oh, let me. Okay, shout out. We be. Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to write your phrases down. We be. Let's see. I heard. We be, hold on. We be dancing. I heard we be jamming. I heard we be having fun. Okay, that would be great. When would we use those phrases? If that's home language, raise your righteous hand, give me an example of where you would be or who you might be talking to if you say it like this. If you say, we be grubbing, we be jamming, we be dancing. Give me one.
We been grubbing. That means like when we're, sometimes people say like we been grubbing means like a whole family.
Well, okay, so you would use that when you're with your family? Because you know they're going to understand you, right? Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Raven, where are you when you say, we be jamming? Where would you be?
At the skating rink.
Okay, you might be at the skating rink. Very good.
At home.
At home, very good.
At school?
Okay, where at school? Could you use some of these phrases at school sometimes?
Yes.
tell me where you would be at school. When would you use these phrases at school?
Sometimes. Outside.
Outside at the assembly in the morning at affirmation? Okay, thank you, Rodney. I know you're ready. Jalen, Amina, help her out. Outside when?
Outside when we play.
You guys did an excellent job. Let me ask you one last question, and I want you to really think. When you hear this story, and the young man is telling you about the things that he enjoys, Malik, and he says, I be boy jumping, I be boy running, I be boy talking way too loud. Then you switch it to, I am a boy running, I always jump, I always talk way too loud. Does that have the same feeling?
Yes.
No, it doesn't have the same feeling, does it? No. So can you see why sometimes you might want to use your home language, your African American language, to make people really understand what you're saying? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you guys. You did an excellent job.